You.
What up? What up? What up? What up? You know what it is. It's your boys, Brick City's finest, JD and Dave, back with another No Country. This one right here is going to be more so or less of a review slash kind of reaction, but we getting into it. We in the building. Thank y'all for joining us. You know what it is. Don't forget to do the things like subscribes, all that stuff. Do that things. Hey Dave, what's good, bro?
It's cracking, folk.
I don't know. Let me
We on
turn
this.
this
We on this. We on
like
this new age. There's so much shit coming out, man. It's hard to keep up. But
it's a
you
lot. It's a
know,
lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot,
this one's been kind of on a burner for a minute.
bro.
Something that I think is long awaited by a lot of people. Some people don't really know much about it. We're gonna go in, and this is more of a reaction to the first episode because it came out today. We hot off the presses like that.
Review reaction. Yes, yes.
Review reaction.
And we
Um,
on it. We on it. And me personally, I gotta, as much as if this is full disclosure or not, I'm a really big Hulk fan, and as big of a Hulk fan I am, that extends to Hulk related people. So I was
the
very
larger
excited.
the larger Banner family.
Yes, I was very excited for any type of She-Hulk show, and I was just waiting for it. So, boom, let's go.
So
What we doing?
She-Hulk attorney at Lizzo.
Yes, sir.
That's gonna be, what is this? The sixth or seventh Marvel Plus Disney Plus series that they
Right.
dropped. It was Falcon Winter Soldier,
WandaVision,
WandaVision,
Loki,
Loki,
What If,
What If,
Moon Knight,
Moon
Miss
Knight, Miss
Marvel,
Marvel. So this is about seventh, something like that.
and it.
Um,
Right.
Something like that. But either way,
Oh, and Hawkeye. So it's like
Hawkeye,
eight, it's
Hawkeye.
nine. So
Yeah,
it's number 9.
true that, true that, true that.
Right.
This one's been on the burner for a minute. They've been talking about it for a minute. It's been a lot of controversy, a little bit of hot take shit about it because some early footage was some wild wonky CGI.
Well, look, not to cut you off, but I think everything like from the we say the CGI, from this to writing, from that, I think everything has a seed of truth to it. That
Right,
doesn't take away from it as the complete show that
right.
it is. I
Of course,
think.
of course. And a lot of that was based on
Right.
the trailers and what had been out there before the actual show dropped. So, we're gonna actually talk about the first episode, which dropped today.
Right.
And just kind of, dig on how we felt about it, what we might be looking to see in the rest of the season, and
Mm-hmm.
overall just, just
Where we think it's going.
yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much so. Like I said, I think look, I'm bro, like I passionate and just willing to like I said, just knowing the Incredible Hulk's story the way that I know it. Um I'm willing to make all types of allowances. Obviously, we already did Ragnarok, you know
Right.
what I'm saying? So that already kind of incorporated certain elements into the Hawk lore that I'm like, all right, cool, cool, cool. We're gonna work on it, and whether it's what I wanted or not, but it was the Hulk. Like I said, we already did this. We already went through 3 Hulk iterations right now. You know what I'm saying? From Banner to Norton to now, all people who
Name
are
was
Hulk
Eric
fans.
Banner. Damn.
Banner, yeah, yeah. From
Did it take me 20 years? I'm sorry.
it's all right, bro. But I even thought that was dope at the time. I even thought that was dope at the time. Like I was bugging. So but just the fact that uh it's been going on this time, and like I said, anytime you pop up, like I'm like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So She-Hulk, I was excited for it. I'm glad we got into it. And right now, when it starts out, they kind of go into this thing where it kind of alludes to the book, which is where in the book she broke the fourth wall a lot, and she's always been like snappy and clever, and kind of funny and mousy,
Yeah.
but in her human form. And
Yeah.
then all her confidence in everything kind of amalgamated and came together when she became She-Hulk. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because then she had the actual ability and
Right.
everything to match everything that she already was inside, even though she wasn't able to say it. But they kind of played it like, it enhanced already who she was. Like she already
Yeah.
acted like, a chick that was already doing everything and chilling and got everything under control. So we get to the first part. She goes and she has a case, but then they pause the show in order. She breaks the fourth wall to pause the show to tell us how, because she's already She-Hulk. She paused the show to tell us how she sees She-Hulk, and she's out on a trip with Bruce, Mark Ruffalo, shout out, doing his thing. They get into a car accident, and she gets some of his blood in one of her wounds, and then that's what causes her to become a
That was
Hulk.
such a weird writing choice, but I'm a roll with it. It was
Right.
very weird. But
He takes her to an island to train her and tell her actually what is going to happen, just for the simple fact that she now it has these powers. They had a conflict, but they get over it, and
you
then
had to give her the '80s montage real quick.
right, and then she goes back to her life to being a lawyer, and pretty much that's the first setup for the show.
Damn, damn. Thinking about it, that's even the Deadpool setup. You start with the in scene current action, and then hold on, breaks the fourth wall, and then rewinds you back to the origin story, walks you through that, and then comes back at the end to
Yeah.
frame the episode with the current times and shit. Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
one of the things that made me even think, like well, since we already while we on the Deadpool thing, one of the things that got me there too was the fact that they said shit once. She threw up a middle finger, and
I
then
was
at the end, they said damn close to the word fuck.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Well, I
I
mean,
was
they
like,
do. They tease. They always
but
say shit.
that makes that's where you expand that bubble. Like
I
that's
think it's
the
always.
area.
I think it's always a shit in at least every other MCU movie.
Yeah,
They
yeah, yeah.
always
But
say ass, but the
there
fuck
was no
they
ass
did the.
there. I didn't hear ass.
I mean, I'm just saying that they always do.
But they used the worst curses. They did a middle finger
Son of a bitch.
instead of
There's
shit,
always a son of a bitch. They use son of a bitch like a lot.
but they kept away from bitch in this too, because she even
Oh
said,
yeah,
if I say this, I'll be perceived as
yeah,
combative and da da da. She
yeah.
said everything except a bitch. And I was like, damn, that's where I thought she was gonna say they're gonna think I'm a
Hey,
bitch.
hey, you want
And
like overly meta fourth wall shit on some funny old man shit too. So I'm watching it this morning. My tradition with all the Disney shows, especially since I work during the day, is like I get up pretty early anyway, so I'll throw that on before I go to work. So I'm watching that shit this morning, and I'm already like just woke up a few minutes ago, and my wife is next to me, so I don't want to be too loud. So I turn on the subtitles, and then I put on what was it, English description, right? So it's like it's subtitles, and then as the actions happening, first off, dialogue's louder, so I can hear it louder without turning TV up too loud. But the whole time, there's like stage directions, like Jen turns around and throws the guy across the room. Like that shit was happening. I thought that was part of the show.
it probably was.
Turn that no, but I turned it off and it stopped doing that. I was like, oh, I thought they was doing the Black Dynamite shit where your man was reading
That
the
was the
stage
joke they
directions
know. Well,
sarcastically. Who's your leader? Sarcastically, me. Like that. I thought
yeah,
that's what
yeah,
they
yeah.
were doing. I
Well,
was like, oh, they
that's the
going
thing.
there.
Yeah, the tone of the show is
It would have
definitely,
fit. It would have fit. That
yeah.
would have been funny.
That's true. The tone of the show is definitely very uh deliberate in
Yeah.
their choice. They like, yo, this what we gonna do, this how we gonna do it. Like, and it's funny because they decided to incorporate, like they said Daredevil was supposed to come up later. So if you're gonna incorporate somebody from like the darkest, well, it was Marvel then, but now it's owned by everybody else. But if you want to go incorporate somebody from the darkest Marvel show into was probably gonna be the lightest Marvel show.
I
Like,
don't know. Ms.
so
Marvel was super light. They had some heavy
okay,
parts
okay,
like
okay,
in a
okay.
couple episodes, but Ms. Marvel was like it was
And
more
she's a
like
fan. She's a fan of everybody. So
yeah. But I mean, they did Ms. Marvel. I don't know if you've seen Kim's Convenience, but they kind of got the era that Kim's Convenience family foreign immigrants, kind
right,
of story kind of thing. This one
right, right, right.
I think they kind of went more She-Hulk. I think they went more like they said it, Ally McBeal in the practice. But
Oh
like,
yeah, it's totally that too.
yeah,
Well, I haven't seen the practice, but
yeah, the
definitely
practice was
it's
heavy.
definitely Ally McBeal because
Yeah,
Ally
for sure.
McBeal was a she was a fourth wall breaker
I was about
also,
to say, yeah, yeah, yeah. They did that in there too.
fantasy person and things like that. And yeah, so that I mean it's totally giving me Ally McBeal vibes. So
Yeah,
um goods about the show. You want to talk about the goods or the bads first?
we can talk about whatever, man.
Positive. All right, let's talk about the positives first.
Okay,
All right, cool. So positives, for me, acting was fine, casting was right, it the way it was shot was right. Yeah, the CGI was a little, it was messed up, but like I thought, and like I said, your eyes, well, my eyes anyway, kind of adjusted to it. It still looked obvious, but it didn't bother me forever. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, all right, fine. Like I said, like I'm a kid from Luther Rigno days. I came from somebody just wearing green paint. So
and looking
why
crazy,
should I complain so much
looking
more
super
just
crazy.
because yeah, like
Yeah,
so like so that's not too much of a complaint for me. Like I can get over that. Um like I said, I enjoy seeing everybody's looks. I like the jauntiness of it. Um, and yeah, it looked good. Like I enjoyed it overall.
yeah, yeah. My pros on it. I've been a Tatiana Maslany fan since Orphan Black. Me and my wife watched most of that. We still haven't seen the last season, but she's super compelling as an actress. She played like five characters in that joint, and every
Hmm.
one of them
Hmm. Hmm.
is different people, and it's an ill show in and of itself. But then when you get into how she legit made you feel like five different people was on the screen every time. That just speaks to how well she translates this. I think the characterization is
It
She-Hulk.
kind of don't because remember her and She-Hulk are not different
Well,
personalities.
what I was about to say was, I think they kind of toned down the She-Hulk, sensationalism from the book a little bit, but she was able to play that, the mousy part and the more bombastic part of her once she turned, like real well, and
She
she
wasn't
she
never mousy.
a little bit the lawyer side. Then when she's in her personal thing, I kind of took her away as a little mousy, a little more like reserved than the comic book version. But either way, she did really well. I really enjoyed her performance. I mean, yeah, like you said, everybody across the board was dope. Ruffalo, as much as I have my little stuff about his thing with Bruce, he's just an enjoyable dude. He's warm. He makes you like him. You know what I'm saying? He's just like a real welcome presence. So I like that part of it. I like the cinematography. The CGI, I think they improved it a lot over the trailers. And like you said, it's only so much realism you're gonna get with the shit that they're doing. They're face swapping people and putting them in these big ass bodies. Ruffalo don't look like that in real life. She don't look like that. She look like she 5'1" at best. Ruffalo might be 5'7", and then they turn into these big giant creatures. You were never gonna get a CGI. You were never gonna get a Hulk without
And
CGI.
check this out. Like it's funny
So
because I know a lot of people that probably actually literally complain. It's people that play video games. And I'm
yeah,
like, y'all know when we like
they still.
video games,
I got
like
a
come on
PS5,
now.
bro,
Stop
and
playing.
and I'm watching the cut
Just
scenes, and
yeah,
as
like come on.
advanced as it is, it still ain't there. So
Like
you're
that's
not
the
gonna get
best
this.
you gonna get. Like,
Yeah,
come
you're
on.
not gonna get
Bro.
this photorealistic shit that you think is gonna happen. I will say the trailer CGI was shitty.
I,
They stepped the game up. Shouts out to them. I think Bad Sonic put a fire up under everybody's asses because that shit was so bad. They changed the whole character design.
I don't trust that bad Sonic shit. I believe they had a real Sonic ready to go the whole time. They just wanted to really just
Nah, son,
do
they
that.
thought they
I
was gonna
believe
get
that.
that off.
I don't.
You seen
Ain't no
bad.
way,
You seen how bad they character design these motherfuckers.
bro.
They thought
Nah,
that was gonna
ain't no
fly.
way. Ain't
They
no.
thought that was going. Bro, think about it. They
I
spent
can't.
millions of dollars to make that ugly
I don't
ass
trust
thing.
that. I don't
You don't
trust
have
that.
to trust it. The thing about the truth
I
is, you ain't
do.
got
I
to
don't
trust
believe
it.
it.
You got to
I don't.
believe it.
I
They
believe
thought
it
that
always
shit
had
was
good
gonna work.
Sonic ready. They just wanted to just
They
freak
thought that shit
everybody out.
was gonna work. They
No,
pushed
they
that
didn't,
trailer.
bro. Impossible.
They pushed that trailer hard as hell. They
I
pushed
can't.
that trailer hard as hell before they.
Look, let's go back to the thing. I can't believe Bad Sonic was
They
ready.
did. You could believe it because they did it.
I don't. It wasn't ready. Bro.
It
No,
happened.
no,
They
no,
thought that shit was gonna pop. But anyway,
no.
CGI or aside, I thought it was decent, man. I didn't really go over the moon for it. I probably would call it my least favorite of the Marvel debut shows thus far.
Mm.
Like with all the other Disney Plus shows, first episode I knew I was in. This one I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch it, but you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that as a huge criticism. I'm just like it didn't grab me as quick as the other first episodes did.
No, I feel you because you know what? It's like I would think that like any of them, like I'm like, yo, I'm gonna watch this because, or I'm like, yo, I'll catch this, whatever. But like I said, I gotta go back to my genuine like Hulk bias. Like I knew I was gonna watch this. Like this is
Yeah,
the
you
only,
know
this, for me, this is the only one that so far. Even what if is my second one, and I was like, yo, like I'm gonna watch. I'm going to watch the what ifs, and
yeah,
I'm going to watch She-Hulk because
yeah. I
I'm
think you're probably right.
going
Those probably the only two I could think of that I was like I knew from gate I was gonna watch for
yeah.
sure.
And
Yeah,
I'll check out the other ones because if they fun, then I'll just check them out. WandaVision was fun. It ended up being clever as they was explaining it. You know what I'm
WandaVision
saying?
was heavy though.
It was something to watch. You know what I'm
WandaVision
saying?
was
Like,
heavy though.
yeah,
Like
that's what I'm saying. But that was a good start. They had to start
yeah,
out that
yeah,
way.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying? So and then everything else was just like, like boom, like they was doing what they said they was gonna do. So
yeah.
cool. So
They did something that locked me to me. I say at least with the Disney Plus series,
mm,
probably even the Marvel. I mean the Netflix ones, but at least with the Disney Plus, they did something in every premiere episode that locked me to say, "Yo, I'm ready to see what's happening with the rest of this." This one didn't, and I'm not even using that as some heavy downing of it. I'm just saying I know how I felt at the end of it. Um, like I didn't even really laugh until the Captain America joke at the in the mid credit scene. Like
mm.
that was when I first like, ha, yeah, like I laughed at that.
Yeah, the chuckle. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The rest of
Well,
it, I
like I
was like,
said, I
I
think
wanted it
it's
to be funnier, but it just didn't really strike like that.
well, I think it's and I think on top of it, it's going to be harder for them to make us laugh when they know that like the people they trying to make laugh done watched The Office or Ally McBeal.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah,
So it's like they like, yo, how can I shock this person that's looking for this enough to carry this? So as we go on, all right. So now let's go ahead and lean into our bad, you know what I'm saying, or section or like lacking or whatever we want to call it. But so yeah, so I think that it was this thing where they was trying to obviously you got this balance of these characters, you got this stuff to introduce. Um my all right, so let's get the most obvious thing back out the way, which we already kind of touched on, but just real quick, like the CGI, real quick. Um just um all right, like we said, they definitely did go back over it or at least did more stuff to it. It just still looked cartoony, but like I said, the more I watched it, the more which I expected, the more I got accustomed to it because it's supposed to look like somebody you ain't or something that you never
yeah,
saw before.
yeah.
You kind of really
I
imagine,
think I think I think part of what people do when they criticize CGI is you take out of context the fact that there is no photorealistic um, precedent for what it is these people
Yeah,
are trying to do.
reference. Yeah, no real
You're making
reference to
some
that.
shit that don't exist, and if you can get it as close enough as you can to looking good on camera, I mean, you're knocking the fact that these people look. When we were looking at comic books and fucking with some of this shit growing up, we didn't even think some of this stuff was going to be possible. We knew we weren't, and then once CGI really started cracking, we knew we weren't going to get a proper Spider-Man without CGI. We knew we weren't going to get a proper Superman. We knew we weren't going to get a proper Hulk. So even though I griped
Directors
about
even told us that.
right, and even though I griped about the CGI, I also understand the necessity of it to bring these characters to life. So then that kind of like that balances out the scale. So I'm like, am I looking for this shit to be like photorealistic? Nah. Am I looking for it to look good? Yeah. So if you can meet me right here in the middle, and it don't have to look like, oh my god, it's right out of a real person, the
Yeah.
dimensions and the light, they don't have to be perfect. But I
But
mean,
this didn't look good.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
however,
yeah, right.
however, if you watch it long enough, your eyes adjust
Yeah,
to
you start
what
seeing
it
where it's
is
fucked
you
up.
looking at. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
or
so
it just blends in and you don't mind as much. What I will say is, for the kind of face that Tatiana Maslany has,
yeah.
they do a good job of making it look as expressive as she is, and that's hard
I,
to do with CGI.
I agree with you on that. Like
Hard to do.
just her face
Mm-hmm.
looks good.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
they catch her face. Like I
yeah,
have to I that like that's I think the most important thing. The rest it fuzzes out as you go out towards the
yeah,
extremities. But
yeah.
yes, the facial is I think good. Even though like we said, like it's a little sharp, it could be a little fast sometimes. However, they catch every little movement, every little motion of her face.
You know what? I ain't watching on my super high def joint. I got one TV in here that's like the Universal HD. I gotta see what it looked like on that, because it looked pretty good on like my older TV.
Mm.
But they got these shits with the escalated 4K. Like whenever I watch, like that's the one that's in the gaming area. Like that TV picks up all of the high def shit. So I gotta check it out on there. But I could complain about the CGI, but I think they
Yeah, yeah,
definitely
that's
they
just
did
one
it.
thing. That's
They
why I
did a
wanted to
good
get this
job.
out the way first. Yeah.
Yeah, they did a good job on what it was when we saw the previews. And shout out to those CGI houses that Marvel and Disney busting your ass. I know y'all doing a lot of overtime, so I'm
We
not going
heard,
to
we
that much
heard.
shit on you too
Yeah,
much.
we heard,
We
we heard they getting
understand.
on you, but y'all
You know what I'm
doing your
saying?
thing. Yeah, keep it
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
thank you very much. All right, so now, casting and acting, I think that was right on point. Personally, like I said, even if it wasn't right on point, I have no qualms and no actual problems with the casting. I'm trying to think if
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
somebody I didn't enjoy. Only weird person I felt was maybe the paralegal lady, but that's just because it was only one episode I watched, and I don't know. Like
Yeah, yeah. I think if I had to pick anybody, it would be Jamila Jamil, the one that played Titania.
she
I'm
looked right though.
No, she did. She looked right. I'm familiar with her from A Good Place. I just want to see where they're going to go with the characterization and how they utilize her. But otherwise, yeah, I agree with you. The casting was pretty tight.
I
What I
tell you
would,
that when we get to that part with Jamila Jamil, when we get to that part, I'll tell you what I how they subverted what I thought was going to happen. But
yeah,
that's
what I would have liked, and this is something as a fan of so the backstory on the main showrunner behind it is her name is Jessica Gao, and she was a writer on Rick and Morty, and she famously wrote the Pickle Rick episode,
right,
and that's easily one of my favorite episodes. I got the Pickle Rick pop up there with the lasers right there
right.
next to us. Like that's easily one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Rick and Morty episodes. And
Okay.
that episode was so like it was funny as hell, and there was so many references to like 80s action and Die Hard, and it was such a rich, you know, pop culture referencey kind of joint, and it was a funny episode. And I was kind of waiting for that level of like that rhythm to show up, and I ain't see it in this one. But I can't knock the whole series. This is the first episode, like you said. The pilot is always going to be kind of where they easing you into it. We talked about this a little while ago. Um, I don't know if we even did it on camera, but they did the Deadpool formula heavy on that, and I could call that a con, but I also realized that a lot of times with the time pressure and the corporate pressure that these people are under creating this stuff, you gotta make shit work and make it something that's gonna pop off and they're gonna greenlight it. So they kind of
Well,
bit.
we were saying that it was the Deadpool
Yeah, I'm
similarity
just saying.
because
But even I'm
it
just talking
was
about
just a
even just the
similarity
structure.
because
Yeah.
in the book she breaks the fourth wall and
Well,
she references the people, and also in this we was talking about how throughout the show in the begin she says they say the word shit, they
yeah,
give a
yeah,
middle
yeah.
finger, and they say pretty
And
much
lead up
the
to
word
fuck.
fuck
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
word.
yeah, yeah.
It's not really even deleted. They
I
pretty
was
much
actually even I was actually even talking about how the actual structure of the
yeah,
episode
that
is
plus the structure
the same shit as
builds
Deadpool one.
that whole
You
realm.
get your flash, you get you're dropping into the world right now. Then the rest of the meat of the script is a flashback, and then you jump back into where they at now towards the end. And that was even like kind of a wink. So
Well, see,
like
this is
you
the
was
thing too, like because it can be really sunny and remember, like we was talking about, like how like I felt like the Hulk got kind of diminished a little
shafted.
bit.
Yeah,
However,
they
that
been
gives the
shitting on
Hulk
the Hulk.
a area to kind of
Come
switch
come up. Yeah,
around
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
look, we dealing with crime, with the law, we gonna get Daredevil up in here, we're gonna get all of these things, these elements that could at any point end up being very dark and very serious.
Yeah,
And it's other things that they alluded to that, whether we talking about Feige talking about what's gonna happen after this, or if we talking about things happening right now. But it's I'm hoping that everything is seeming this way for setup, because that's one thing that Marvel does do. People always say like, "Oh, well, it looks this way," but Marvel does do their setups right.
yeah, yeah. That's why.
Do their setup.
That's why I think this criticism overall that people are having of Phase Four is a little short sighted. A lot of places across the board, I'm seeing people being like, "Yo, Phase Four is mid or it's not as good," and a lot of this shit is like half-assed, and then we don't know where they're going. But it's like understand, Endgame was the culmination of a decade, and I think we spoke about this before.
Mhm.
It's the end of a fucking decade plus worth of story building, and they completed one arc, and now Phase Four is them building up to what's coming later. And that's not to excuse
Yeah,
shit
but
being
that's the thing. I think a lot
lackluster
of
or
people
whatever.
feel
But
like they're improving, like
I,
instead of
I
like
I get
how
that.
it was
I
the
get
thing. I
that.
think people feel like they improv, and then now we just plucking stuff off the
I've been
tree.
thinking about that, right? I've been
That's
thinking about
what I
that,
think
right?
people feel like.
I've been thinking about that, right? And I could definitely agree where people feel like the looser kind of aesthetic that they've adopted is warranted, right? Or even worth criticism. But when you think about it, right, the reality of it is, in everything they've done, even if it didn't hit like you wanted, they opened up a different branch of the MCU that hadn't been reached before. So Black Widow, that opened up that kind of espionage, Dark Avengers,
Right.
whatever lane.
Yeah,
Then,
a
then, then
genre. Yeah, you just picked the
and then
genre.
right,
Yeah, they went
the
down the
political
thing.
kind of
Yeah.
side of it, and then like Falcon and Winter Soldier followed up with that. So you got that lane open. Then you got Eternals, which everybody wasn't really big on, but that cracked open even more so than Guardians of the Galaxy. The cosmic aspect of it, the crazy outer space opera shit that's gonna come. Then you got Loki, that and No Way Home, those defined the multiverse and the rules of that. You got Hawkeye, you got what was the other joint? Um, Whatever, Hawkeye and a couple other joints. They touch on the street level of Marvel, the more like regular low stakes shit. and then now you got She-Hulk that's gonna kind of probably tie all this stuff together. I feel like I'm gonna hit you right. I feel like Phase 4 is about to be like season 2 of The Wire. I think once we see where they're going with that, you might not like it as much, but it's gonna be intrinsic to what happens after that. Fuck is wrong with you? Why would you?
because that should have been that's what
This a
this
metaphor,
I
nigga. Like,
think no, that was a good one. I'm
oh,
just
like
saying
shit.
that was a good one. I'm just saying that should have been what we just went through. Like when you do
It
the
should have
switch,
been.
when you
You're
do the
right.
switch on everybody. So now it's like I thought you was gonna say like that one was season 2. No, now we gotta go through season 2, my nigga. Damn.
Nah, yeah. They waited a long time for it, but it's the reset because they setting you up for all of this shit. I mean, they done lost damn near all of their stars. Um, Downey's out. Evans is probably out. Johansson's out. After Guardians, Pratt and all of them are probably gonna move around. Holland is moving on. They don't know where they're gonna do with him. You know, like all of the fucking big bang Chad gone. You know what I'm saying? Like all the big draws that they built up in the first 3 phases are either gone or they just moved on. The only one they got left is Hemsworth. So they gotta figure out how to keep motherfuckers invested. And of course people gonna bitch about it, but you know, they throwing in the diversity. So they got all these different led stories with, you know, the Muslim girl and the Asian showrunner and yada yada yada. So I mean, they having this point where they're trying to keep the shit going, but resetting it from a more diverse perspective, and
Yeah.
it may be good or bad, but
Especially if we gotta do overseas shit. So we gotta
right,
move.
right, exactly. You got the Shang-Chi, you gotta map out that shit. So it's like, yo, we gotta understand these are business moves, but at the same time, I do understand where the gripes are with the quality not being
All right.
what
So
people expect. So you know,
let's
She-Hulk with this right
let's
here.
get back to the show. Yeah, let's get
Yeah,
back.
yeah. That's why I was looping it
So
back. With this
phase
right here, I enjoyed it, but I thought it was gonna be funnier. I thought it was gonna be a bit more. I don't know. I'm waiting to see. It's only the first episode. I'm waiting to see how much more
right.
intrinsic it is to the overall MCU. But I thought it was. I thought it was good. I thought it was a good show. I thought it was a decent episode. I think I'm cool with what happens. I'm not as vested in it as I will have been in all the series. Not
Right.
yet. Not
All right.
yet.
All right. So for me, I'm vested. I'm
Yeah. I'm gonna
invested.
watch it.
No, but just because, like I said, just because this is Hulk for me,
Yeah.
so I have to absorb this, right? Like seriously, and I'm being as chill as I can about it. Um, I actually did enjoy the show in the sense that, like I said, same way I enjoy Hulk. I got to see it. It got done.
Right.
The people doing it seemed like they was enjoying doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I got something. I got the can kicked down the road a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm cool with that. I enjoy all the performances. I can get over whatever the technical aspects is right now. It's only the first episode. That's another thing we keep saying, which is true. This is only one episode we talking about, so you know that's it. And especially when you're talking about a beginning, you know that people got to. It's only to go. You only supposed to go up from there. So we got to talk about this ramp. So
Yeah.
maybe we'll come back and do another episode or another two after this.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
my final score for it that I'm gonna give it, I had it at a. I reevaluated again the best that I could. I had it at a 6.5. I'm gonna give it a 6.8 for the cap joke at the end. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
drop at the 6.8
The
for
cap
this
joke.
one episode. So my first episode is 6.8, y'all.
I agree with that. I agree with the 6.8. I'll throw it to a 7 just to be nice. I'm real because I really liked a lot of what they did. I'm a say it again. I'm a shout from the hilltops. Tatiana Maslany is dope.
Mm,
She's the best part of it. She's the glue. As much as I could have issues with Ruffalo, he always brings it home. I'm not mad at him. The overall production value of it was good. I really did dig the cap joke was the thing I laughed out loud at, like straight up, like ha ha, like yeah, that I dug that. So I throw it to 6.87 just because I wanted to do better. I thought it was good. I just wish it was funnier, and I wish that it was a little less origin story because they keep saying it wasn't an origin story. Whatever, be like the whole episode was an origin story. So I just want to see where we're going from here. I'm cool with the lawyer show shit, and I'm you know I'm hopeful.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
hopeful. I
Yes.
think
I
it'll be
hope
good.
we get to see I don't know if what the Sakar ship was about. I hope that's relating to Scar or something like that.
Yeah,
I hope
y'all took the World War Hulk from us the way we wanted to see it.
yeah, so
So if you could redeem that for cats like us, even more so like JD, because I'm not as heavy in the comics as I was when I was a kid, but World War Hulk
yeah.
was my favorite
If we can
modern
get Scar or
bro.
Hirokala.
World War Hulk was nasty. World War
Um,
Hulk brought me back reading books after I hadn't been reading for like 15 years. So if y'all gonna go there, do pay homage.
and this is one quick thing I just want to put just for posterity. When the Sakar ship dropped down, they rolled over, fell off the ground, and he got his blood into his cousin, which
That was
created a
weird.
which hold up,
Yeah.
created a Hulk. So
Mhm.
maybe the ship was there to tell him that it was another Hulk there. So I'm thinking that the creation kind of thing kind of
And you know what? In some of the trailers, I seen some more like fantastic kind of creatures and shit. So, oh,
yeah.
I
So
think they're
we're
going.
gonna jump off. So but yeah, like I said, show was enjoyable. Yo, we want to thank y'all for joining us again. Another No Country right here with JD and Dave. Y'all already know what it is. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and
Scrizzle,
yes, do all the things. It only take a second.
Lizzle, and subscrizzle,
It's down
and don't fuck a rizzle.
here. It's right here. Press that button. Go ahead. We waiting. We'll give y'all a second. Did you do it? Did you do it? Yeah. We learned that if we bother y'all, y'all actually press the button. So
And then
press the button.
I think over here somewhere it's a share. So if you want to
Yep.
share, you can do that and a subscribe. We
All
need it.
day.
We need it. We need it.
Y'all know. So get
Help me
at us.
on time. Come on, y'all.
Yeah,
Come on,
yeah.
creator.
Y'all know what it is. No Country. We coming back at y'all. If y'all ain't checked none of our other videos, go and look at the other. We did some tier lists. We got some other reviews also. Also, we got something coming for y'all. I think we definitely got a Black Thought, Danger Mouse, Black Thought review coming up for y'all. We got a couple things, so make sure y'all stay with us. No
We
Country.
working.
No Country. You know what it is. Holla at your boys. One.
Peace.